looking up for lost time.
Jake, I think we're lost.
Don't be silly. It only seems that way because there's no geographic features around for us to get our bearings. The ranch we're looking for has got to be around here somewhere.
Well, my phone map stopped working right after we crossed the Red River, and your paper map collection hasn't been of any help either.
Yeah, well, most of the maps I brought along are pretty old. That Oklahoma map there is actually from 1924, so it might not be the most up-to-date.
Well, it should still work then. The wagon ruts in this road are at least that old. If we aren't officially lost now, I think this will do until we really do get lost.
You're always so pessimistic, McLean. Let me see the map. Let me see that.
Are you sure you should be looking at a map when you're driving?
Don't be silly. It's not like there's anything around here I could run into. Let's see. There's Tishomingo there. We passed by it a while ago, so we should be...
What about the giant herd of cattle in front of us?
Giant herd of cattle in front of us? No, I'm not seeing that on the map.
No, Jake, look! The herd of cows in front of us!
Whoa! Oh! They, kind of snuck up on me.
Right, 500 head of cattle being driven across the Oklahoma plains snuck up on you.
Well, they're a very similar shade of brown as the Great Plains. Well, if there's a giant herd of cattle here, then Sydney's cousin's cattle ranch must be around here somewhere.
Hey, look, do you think that's him there?
Where?
There, that guy on the horse herding the cattle. He looks like Sydney if Sydney had a jawline.
I guess there's a fate resemblance. Here, roll down your window.
Jake, this car doesn't have a roof.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Hey, mister, hey!
About the cattle drive here, mister, but driving them across the road's the only way to get them to the pasture. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to ask you, are you Tex Snorthoff, Sydney's cousin?
Well, I sure am. You two must be the radio hosts he was telling me about.
Yeah, that's us. I'm Jake. This is my brother McLean.
Howdy.
Well, pleasure to meet ya. What is it y'all do on the radio exactly?
Oh, we have a show. It's called Yesterday Today. We present the best of yesterday's radio today.
Well, mighty interesting. Well, glad you two fellas are here. The ranch I work at ain't much further away. About a mile or two.
The ranch you work at? I thought you owned the place.
Own the outfit? Well, no, sir. No, I do not. Sydney must have told you fellas wrong. I'm only a hired hand on the ranch. Got me a little bunkhouse out by the barn. But you two are welcome to spend the night there. I spend enough nights out under the stars, so I don't mind being disposed.
As long as we're not putting you out.
Course not. Y'all just meet me down at the ranch there. The foreman's expecting you fellas for dinner, so ought to be a good spread waiting for us at the table.
Hey, I'm all for that. Do we just keep going down the road to get there?
Now, don't be silly. That's a long way. Y'all just follow behind me.
Well, you mean follow the herd of cows?
Course. Ain't nothing out here your car shouldn't be able to handle. Heck, y'all might even do us a favor by running over a rattlesnake or two.
Alright, I guess.
Alrighty, just stick close behind me. Yeah!
Man, for Sydney's cousin, he seems nothing like our janitor back at home.
Yeah, you'd never know they came from the same family tree.
They're from two different orchards. Hey, hey, are we sure about following the herd of cattle?
No, that's what Tex said we should do.
Yeah, but it's a little dusty back here.
Well, what do you expect behind a cattle drive? Well, if we can't put up the roof to stop the dust, maybe we can drown it out with some music.
I don't know if the logic checks out there.
Just play some records.
Fine car that has a phonograph instead of a CD player.
Well, it's unique.
Many months has come and gone since I wandered from my home in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Many a page of life has turned, many a lesson I have learned. Well, I feel like in those hills I still belong. Way down yonder in the Indian Nation, I ride my pony on the reservation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Now way down yonder in the Indian Nation, the cowboy's life is my occupation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. But as I sit here today, many miles I am away from a place I rode my pony through the draw. Why, the oak and blackjack trees kiss the playful prairie breeze in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Way down yonder in the Indian Nation, I ride my pony on the reservation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Oh, way down yonder in the Indian Nation, the cowboy's life is my occupation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. As I turn life a page to the land of the great Osage in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. While the black oil it rolls and flows and the snow-white cotton grows in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Now way down yonder in the Indian Nation, I ride my pony on the reservation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born. Oh, way down yonder in the Indian Nation, the cowboy's life is my occupation in those Oklahoma hills where I was born.
Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along.
He always sings jazzy music to his cattle as he swings back and forth in his saddle on a horse, pretty good horse at a syncopated gait. And the cattle do the jelly to the roar of his revolver, how they run when he shoots his gun, 'cause those western folks all know he's a highfalutin rabbit shooting son of a gun from Oklahoma. He's some cowboy. Talk about your cowboy, ragtime cowboy Joe.
Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along.
He always sings jazzy music to his cattle as he swings back and forth in his saddle on a horse, pretty good horse at a syncopated gait. And the cattle do the jelly to the roar of his revolver, how they run when he shoots his gun, 'cause those western folks all know he's a highfalutin rabbit shooting son of a gun from Oklahoma. He's some cowboy. Talk about your cowboy, ragtime cowboy Joe.
Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy. Get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along, little doggy, get along.
I got a letter from my ma in Oklahoma. She's very sorry that I ever went away, and how she wishes I were back in Oklahoma every day, every day, every day.
Every day.
She says they're having quite a spell of lovely weather. The folks were asking for me at the general store. They'd be so happy if we all could be together evermore, evermore, evermore.
Evermore.
Church bells ringing over on the hill. Ding dong, ding dong. Seems I hear them calling to me still. I got a letter from my ma in Oklahoma. She says my love is true no matter where I roam. And so I'm heading down the trail for Oklahoma. Going home, going home, going home. Church bells ringing over on the hill. Ding dong, ding dong. Seems I hear them calling to me still. I got a letter from my ma in Oklahoma. She says my love is true no matter where I roam. And so I'm heading down the trail for Oklahoma. Going home, going home, going home. Going home, going home, going home.
When dinosaurs were at the height of their power, oil was forming in the earth. And today, from this incredible age, comes power in the making 100 million years. Today, from the age of dinosaurs, comes a great new name in gasoline, announcing Dino Supreme, the great new name in power. Here today at the sign of Sinclair. Dino Supreme, the advanced premium gasoline for today's high-powered cars. Created by Sinclair Research, Dino Supreme. Cleans as it powers, keeps your engine running smoother longer, rewards the smart driver who wants all the power he paid for in his high-powered car. Power in the making 100 million years. In Dino Supreme, try a tankful. Satisfaction guaranteed by Sinclair or your money back.
Got a gal in Oklahoma City, not too smart, but she's awfully pretty. She's the only gal I'll ever love. So I'm going back to see my baby. Didn't say yes, but she did say maybe. Hope that I'm the one she's thinking of. Gonna ride to Oklahoma. Gotta get there mighty soon. I hope it's not too late already. Hope that gal's not going steady. Gotta get to Oklahoma City. She's got eyes of blue and cheeks so rosy. Know it's gonna be mighty cozy, setting with that Oklahoma gal. Wish I knew if she did really miss me. Hope that she'll run to my arms and kiss me, 'cause that gal means more than just a pal. Gonna ride to Oklahoma. Gotta get there mighty soon. Hope it's not too late already. Hope that she's not going steady. Gotta get to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oklahoma, every night my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, yippee-yi-oh-yay, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain, Oklahoma, where the waving wheat can sure smell sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oklahoma, every night, my honey lamb and I, every night we sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We belong to the land, yo-ho, and the land we belong to is grand. Yippee-yi, 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 yippee-yi. And when we say, yo, yippee-yi-oh-yay, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, you're okay. Oklahoma, 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 Oklahoma. We know we belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, yippee-yi-oh-yay, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, O-K-L-A-H-O-M-A, Oklahoma.
He's got pearl-handled pistols and a 10-gallon hat. There's a shiny sheriff's badge on his chest. In his fancy boots and chaps, there's no maybe or perhaps. He's the best dressed cowboy in the West. On his strawberry pony, rope and steer on the range. He's so proud the buttons pop off his vest. When they hear his western drawl, you should see the ladies fall for the best dressed cowboy in the West. Yippee-yi, yippee-oh, he's a rootin' tootin' one-man rodeo. He's a tired little hombre in a 10-gallon hat when he's heading to the bunkhouse for some rest. Though he isn't even 3, once you see him, you'll agree he's the best dressed cowboy in the West. How's about a chew of bubblegum, partner?
Nah, but I sure could go for a slug of milk.
Yippee-yi, yippee-oh. He's a rootin', tootin', one-man rodeo. He's a tired little hombre in a 10-gallon hat.
When he's heading to the bunkhouse for some rest.
Though he isn't even 3,
Once you see him, you'll agree.
he's the best dressed cowboy in the West. There's a spot of oatmeal on his vest. Still, he's the best dressed cowboy in the West.
Say, Rosie, tell the folks what they'll find at their Ford dealers right now.
You'll find new styler that's gonna tease you, new V8 Go to please you, a brand new ride that babies you. And just you try Ford's new Cruise-O-Matic, no drive so automatic, there's nothing in this world so new.
Right, Rosie, the 58 Ford was proved and approved around the world. Its clean, chic styling charmed Paris. Its all-new Interceptor V8 scalped the Alps. Its new Cruise-O-Matic drive really showed the world how magically automatic an automatic can be. There's nothing newer in the world.
You'll find new styling that's gonna tease you, new V8 Go to please you, there's nothing in the world so new. You'll flip when you see the 58 Ford, I'm sure you're gonna rate Ford, newest and bestest buy for you.
Alright, fellas, this here's the foreman around here. He owns the outfit. Foreman, this here's Jake and McLean, friends of my cousin I told you about. They're staying with us for a week or so.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
My goodness, you two look like you got caught up in a twister on your way here.
Well, we sort of drove behind Texas cattle drive to get here.
Why would you do something that ridiculous? What are you, a couple of armadillos?
Armadillos?
That's what the foreman calls everyone. Ain't he a character?
So you two know Tex's cousin, huh?
Yeah, we've been working with him for a couple of years now.
So tell me, is there anything like Tex here?
Actually, we were just saying earlier that Tex here seems nothing like Sydney.
Yeah, it's hard to tell they're even related.
Well, I figured. Sydney isn't as much of an armadillo as Tex, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, look at Tex. He's a tenderfoot. He's a greenhorn. He works slow as molasses and he's as dumb as a donkey. He's not fit to shoot at when you want to unload your gun to clean it.
Why, I'm just happy you hired me on, sir.
Well, I ain't.
Right. Well, how about dinner?
Right, dinner. Well, you two dirt clods sure would be a sight at the dinner table. It's a good thing my daughter Daisy isn't joining us for dinner.
Daisy? What's that about Daisy? Where's Daisy? Is she over in town? When's she gonna be back?
Down, boy, down. How many times do I have to tell you to stay away from my daughter?
But sir, I...
Daisy is the most wonderful child this side of the Red River. And she certainly deserves better than some cowboy who spends all of his time breaking horses out in Tishomingo.
Well, I don't mean to pry into family matters, but that seems kind of a harsh stance to take. As a matter of fact, back at home, Sydney...
Please, let's not discuss the snort-offs any more than we have to. It's not good for my digestion. Let's eat. We got steak.
Steak, all right. You know, it's funny, over in Texas last week, we ran into one of our acquaintances running a vegan steakhouse. It's ridiculous. Didn't have a single piece of meat in the entire place.
Well, don't worry about that here. We got 100% real beef. Here, eat up.
Oh, this is pretty well done meat, huh?
You bet. I hope my steak's well done. The blacker the better, I say. If it's not burned up, I ain't gonna eat it. Let's say we mosey on into the living room and see if we can't find ourselves a good Randolph Scott Western on the TV. I'll pour myself a glass of warm whiskey and Hey, if there ain't no Randolph Scott, we can see if the Texas Rangers are playing at 8.
Right. Well, up next on the show, folks, we have an episode of Richard Diamond, Private Detective, concerning a certain Oklahoma cowboy. So here's that.
Hey, you fellas like accordion music. People have told me I'm the George Jones of the squeeze box.
Listen while the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from the 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of our own store names. We've done that because we recommend and sell the 2,000 or more drug products made with the Rexall Drug Company, like Rexall Mineral Oil, for example. This is the mineral oil specially refined for extra heavy body. What's more, Rexall Mineral Oil is tasteless, odorless, colorless, non-irritating, and non-habit forming. Quality like that is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. Now your Rexall family druggist brings you a transcribed half hour with Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Oh, pardon me.
Huh?
You know where I might find Mr. Richard Diamond?
You want to hire him?
Yes.
Well, stop being so bashful, friend. Come in, come in.
Thank you. You're Mr. Diamond?
Well, any resemblance to the Irish washerwoman is purely intentional.
Do you always do your own laundry?
Always. Keeps my petty cash from looking too petty. Sit down, Mr.
Baxter. Clay Baxter from Oak Mulgee, Oklahoma.
Clay Baxter from Oak Mulgee, Oklahoma. Was a man, I guess, to be in his early 50s. Straight up, he crowded 6'3", counting the 2-inch heels on his handmade boots. Looking at him, I thought of an old Remington print and suddenly felt like singing a chorus of Home on the Range.
I'd like you to come to Oak Mulgee with me, Mr. Diamond.
Well, why, Mr. Baxter?
My brother was killed yesterday. The sheriff and the coroner said it was an accident. I don't believe it.
How did you happen to look me up?
I raise cattle, Mr. Diamond. I do a great deal of business in Chicago and New York. I wanted a detective with experience, someone with a good reputation.
Bless you.
I called a friend on Wall Street, and he recommended several men. One of them was you. I checked your background. I'm satisfied.
Oh, good. I charge $100 a day in expenses.
Check and feed. I'll pay it, and if you catch the man who done it, I'll give you a $1,000 bonus.
Oh, well, now, I can't leave right away. It'll take me at least 5 minutes to get my affairs in order.
Yeah, I can certainly see you appreciate a buck.
Mr. Baxter, I appreciate a buck like a Texan appreciates Texas.
Texas? Never heard of it.
How was your brother supposed to have been killed?
Thrown from his horse, skull fracture.
And you don't believe it?
I do not.
Why?
Too good a horseman.
Well, it could have happened.
Well, if it did, he'd have taken the fall right. Might have busted something, but wouldn't have killed him.
Anything else?
His wife. My brother was a wealthy man, Mr. Diamond. His wife will inherit everything. Ranch, cattle, all worth about $8 or $10 million.
You think she had something to do with his death?
You tell me, Mr. Diamond.
I called Helen, told her I was off to Oak Mulgee, promised I'd send her a couple of Navajos or whatever they had out there. Then I took Clay Baxter over to my flat and threw a few things into a suitcase.
Oklahoma's dry.
So's Richard Diamond.
Might get arrested.
Oh, I don't want to leave it here.
Wouldn't make any difference if it was empty, would it?
No.
Got a couple of glasses?
A fifth usually adds up to a full evening, but that's only when Clay Baxter isn't around. When he poured one for the road, the water line receded 6 inches. I had a quick one, and he finished it.
How'd that soldier?
How do you feel?
Oh, lively.
Why don't we forget the plane? You just start running for the window, and I'll climb on. Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Population 17,091, according to the last census, and very hot in August. Baxter's station wagon's waiting at the airport, and the driver took us into town where I was introduced to the local law.
This here's Sheriff Billings.
How are you, Sheriff?
Jim, this is Mr. Diamond. He's a private detective from New York.
Howdy, Diamond.
Howdy.
Private detective, huh?
Oh, I've been called other things.
Still ain't satisfied, huh, Clay?
Not yet. And you ain't either, and you know it, Jim.
How about it, Sheriff? You think Mr. Baxter's brother was killed deliberately?
Coroner says it was an accident. Hit his head on a rock.
That ain't what Mr. Diamond asked.
Well, Will Baxter was a pretty good rider, but he could have been thrown.
I don't...
All the evidence says he was. Could see plain where his horse bolted.
What could have made his horse shy?
Snake, maybe.
Not that horse, and you know it, Jim.
Well, maybe stepped in a chuck hole. He was limping right bad when he got back to the barn.
No signs of anyone else near the body?
Well, when I got there, some of Will's boys had already ridden out.
Who found him?
A couple of old miners, Luke and Phineas Merriweather.
Well, let's go out to the ranch, Mr. Baxter, and take another look at the spot where your brother died.
Will Baxter's ranch is 40 miles from here, Mr. Diamond.
Maybe you'd like to go out to my place and freshen up a bit first. You go ahead and shave and shower. I'm going to go build me a drink.
Hey, this is quite a place, Mr. Baxter.
Glad you like it. Take a swim in the pool if you'd want, but watch out for the catfish.
Catfish?
I'm a bachelor. Don't use the pool much, and I don't usually have guests. Love catfish for dinner, so I keep them in the pool.
I caught a guy once floating bodies in his bathtub.
Don't say. Funny, Harvey.
I showered and shaved and met Baxter out by the pool where he was feeding his catfish. I watched a pound of liver disappear like lychee nuts in the Tong War, and we all headed back to town where we picked up Sheriff Billings. 40 miles later, we pulled up in front of the late Will Baxter's ranch. A little different architecture, but just as impressive as my client's.
Clay. Afternoon, Sheriff.
Oh, Wilma.
Afternoon, Wilma.
Wilma, this here's Mr. Richard Diamond. Wilma Baxter, my brother's wife.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Diamond?
Private detective. Come up from New York.
Oh? Well, why don't we all go in the house? It's too hot out here.
Mr. Diamond wants to go out and look at the spot where Will got himself killed.
Certainly. Have one of the boys fix you up with some horses. When you're done, why not stop back for dinner?
Mr. Diamond's eating with me, and he's going to be pretty busy for a while.
Now, I'll give you a rain check, Mr. Diamond.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like you to tell me about New York. It's been a long time, and I've almost forgotten what it's like.
Let's go, Jim. It's getting late.
Bye, Mr. Diamond. Nice meeting you.
Goodbye, Mrs. Baxter.
Seems all broken up, don't she?
Yeah. Where was she when her husband got killed?
Perfect alibi. In town all day. A lot of people saw her. Mighty fine-looking woman.
Mighty. We all rode down to the stables, and one of the hands saddled up 3 horses, and we started out across the open desert. For a man who had spent all his life riding around in taxicabs, the experience was just short of agonizing.
Just up ahead, Diamond.
Swell.
Never rode much, did you?
No, I always bounce like this. Like to make my money belt jingle.
Well, here it is. Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Well, here's where they found the body.
Now, what did he hit his head on?
That rock right there.
Mm-hmm. Did you take an impression of the wound to see if it matched?
Nope.
Well, why not?
Never thought about it.
Well, that's a pretty good reason. Anyway, let's dig that rock out and take it back with us. I spent the next minutes limping around looking for something and came up with nothing except a longing for a hot Epsom salts bath. We dug up the large rock and took it back with us to Wilma Baxter's ranch.
Whoa!
Howdy, Sheriff.
Howdy, Frank. This here's Mr. Diamond, Frank. Diamond, this is Frank Kelly, the ranch foreman.
Howdy.
Detective fella, huh? Miss Baxter told me about you. Said you was doing some investigating.
Yes, sirree.
Scientific investigation. The way the city boys do it.
What you going to do with that rock?
Hopscotch. Oh, on second thought, I think we'll take turns untying the knots in my back.
Good warm shower, and you'll feel fit as a fiddle.
Well, I got a good start. I'm shaped like one.
You'll find it a little bit rough out here, Diamond.
Oh, I'll get used to it, Mr. Kelly.
I hope you're right. Ain't much like the big city.
Oh? Just what is the big city like, Mr. Kelly?
I ain't never been there. Just what I've noticed. Looks like a man can get pretty soft living in the city.
Well, I'd like to show you where I was brought up sometime, Mr. Kelly. We never got around to playing cowboy, though. We were too busy kicking each other's teeth out.
See you later, Mr. Baxter. So long, Sheriff.
I don't think Frank likes you, Diamond.
Well, what about Will Baxter's horse? I can take a look at him.
Right over there in that stall.
Really pulled up lame.
Oh, good horse. Never figured to shy at anything.
Man, look at that.
His hip's swollen.
Yeah, really twisted something. Steady, boy. Steady.
Hey, that looks like an infection.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It kind of does.
What are you getting at, Mr. Diamond?
Oh, I'm not getting into thing, Mr. Baxter. I just said it looked like an infection.
Yeah, we better tell Mrs. Baxter or Frank. Have someone take care of it.
Tell me, boys, if you jabbed a horse with something, would that make him bolt? Come on, I want to get back to town and talk with the coroner.
Before we continue with the adventures of Richard Diamond, private detective, here's your Rexall family druggist.
Last week, a customer said to me,
I wish I knew some way to be sure I'm getting enough vitamins. Some way that's easy, yes, and inexpensive, too.
Why, ma'am, millions of people have found the way to do that. They take Rexall Plenamins.
Plenamins?
Rexall's popular multivitamin capsules. Just 2 Plenamins a day give you more than your minimum daily requirement of every vitamin for which such requirements have been established.
Well, you can't expect much more than that.
Yet Plenamins do give you more than that, for they also contain valuable liver concentrate and iron, plus other factors of the vitamin B complex.
Say, they must be expensive.
On the contrary, ma'am, Rexall Plenamins cost you only a few pennies per day. Ask for Plenamins at Rexall drugstores everywhere, and remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
And now back to tonight's adventure with Richard Diamond, private detective, starring Dick Powell.
Now, look here, Jim. Ain't my word good enough?
Why, sure it is, Coroner, but Clay hired Mr. Diamond to do some investigating, and he's doing it.
Clay, I tell you, your brother died from natural causes.
I don't think so.
But if you insist, I'll show this detective fella the body.
I want the head wound matched to this rock.
Okay, but the mortuary ain't going to like it. They got him all ready to bury.
The coroner led me across the street and into a funeral parlor where I took a look at the late Will Baxter. 6 years with the 5th Precinct homicide and a couple of dozen killings should have conditioned me. But like always, the first look shakes something loose in the middle of my stomach, and I have to keep swallowing hard.
Looks right natural, don't he, Clay?
Yeah.
They do a good job here.
Bully for them.
He hit his head right here. Concussion, plain and simple.
No other marks or bruises?
No.
While the coroner rolled the late Will Baxter into one of the back rooms and made a comparison with the head wound and the rock we'd brought in from the ranch, we went out on the front porch for some air. I lit a cigarette and thought about an old case I'd worked on 5 or 6 years before.
You got a cigarette?
Sure, Doc. Picayune all right?
Funny thing.
Head wound doesn't match the rock.
Sure doesn't. Wound is too deep. Rock's round and flat. Nothing sticking up to go that deep.
Then I want an autopsy.
Why? Fracture still killed him?
No, I doubt it. When someone plans a murder, they don't count on one blow to do the trick.
But there's nothing else that could have done it.
Well, nothing you can see. I've met someone here in Okmulgee that I'm pretty sure is wanted for another killing very similar to this. Now, Doc, go make that autopsy and fast.
You think maybe you found something, Diamond? You think Will was killed deliberately?
Maybe, but we'll have to wait for the autopsy. In the meantime, I'd like to go out and visit those 2 old-timers.
Luke and Phineas?
That's right, Sheriff.
Well, it's mighty dangerous. Come on, I'll take you out.
You better wait here for the report. Mr. Baxter and I will go on out.
All right, you can use my horses, so you won't have to go all the way back to the ranch.
Horses?
Well, the Merriweathers are on the other side of town, out about 10 miles, no roads.
Oh, horses. 10 miles. I mean, never play kick the can again. Oh.
You really don't take to horses, do you, Diamond?
Maybe if you could find me a nice long thin one. Holy Ike. Whoa, steady.
That's one of the Merriweathers.
Well, let's get out of here. Come on, horse. Now, come on, I'm yelling, I admit it.
Now, it's okay, Diamond. That's just the boys' way of letting you know not to come any farther, unless they say so.
Oh, swell greetings. What happens now?
Hey, up there! Luke! Phineas!
What you want?
It's Clay Baxter. I got a friend here who wants to talk to you.
Phineas? Yeah, Luke? Hey, Baxter. Got some friend who wants to palaver. I don't feel like palavering. Better shoot him.
Giddy up.
Just take it easy. Take it easy. They always act like this.
Phineas don't want to palaver. I gotta shoot you if you don't promote.
It's important. About my brother.
Phineas? Yeah, Luke? It's about his brother, the dead one we found t'other day. Oh, all right, I guess. Let one of them come up. Baxter?
Yeah, Luke?
Send your friend on up.
And up I went, leaving my better judgment running off across the desert. I climbed a small hill and found myself standing at the entrance of an old mine shaft. Luke and Phineas and Merriweather stood on either side, shotguns ready, pointed right at my chest.
Start talking.
Well, gentlemen, my name is Diamond.
Don't pay no import to names. What do you want?
Just wanted to ask some questions about the man you found the other day.
You a policeman?
Well, kind of.
Shoot him.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I'm not a real policeman.
Then what are you?
I'm a private detective.
Luke? Yeah.
What's the matter? It's an honest profession. Fellow's got to make a living.
You a real live private detective?
Well, I'm a private detective. The real live part I'm depending on.
Well, my goodness gracious. Come on in and have some victuals.
Huh?
Why, mister, me and Finney read all them stories about you fellas.
Uh-huh.
We filled up one whole tunnel with old detective magazines. You fellas really are something.
Wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Let's see your badge.
Oh, yeah. Sure. There you are.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll be dogged. Come on in, friend. Come on in. I'd like to ask you some questions about this here Dick Tracy fella.
Well, 1 minute I'd faced 2 shotguns. The next I was turned into an honored guest. I had coffee and biscuits with Luke and Phineas and answered enough questions about the private detective business to fill a dime novel of my own. I squeezed in enough questions to find out that the boys hadn't seen or found anything unusual when they discovered Will Baxter's body. 4 cups of coffee and a dozen biscuits later, I bid the Merriweathers a fond farewell and returned to Clay Baxter.
They loved you?
Oh, worshipped me. They're starting a Richard Diamond fan club.
Well, did you find out anything?
No.
Well, give me your hand. I'll help you up on your horse.
Oh, couldn't I just walk back? Come on, horse. Hold still. Steady, boy. Clay Baxter, sitting in the saddle, had leaned down and grabbed my hand to help me up on my horse, and that was when he got it. His horse took out with the wounded man still up and hanging on. I booted my horse in the ribs. Oh! I took off after Baxter like citation on a good day. I closed my eyes, prayed a little, and tried to remember every jockey I'd ever seen before. Suddenly, I looked up and spotted Baxter's horse dead ahead, standing still and right in my path. Whoa! Oh!
Well, I guess it's just my time. If I don't die from this bullet I got in me, I'm going to do it from laughing.
How is he, Doc?
Oh, he'll be all right. Bullet went clean through, just under the collarbone. Didn't break anything. How do you feel, Mr. Diamond?
Crippled.
Any idea who shot Clay?
No.
Clay said he thought it might have been the Merriweather boys.
No, it couldn't have been.
Why not?
No, the Merriweather boys used shotguns, not rifles. What about that autopsy, Doc? Well, go on. What about it?
You was right. Will Baxter didn't die from a skull fracture.
What was it?
You don't know what was used for sure. A long, thin instrument. Whoever did it pulled the lower eyelid down, killed Will Baxter by jabbing something through the eye into his brain.
Probably hit him over the head to knock him off the horse, and then got down and made sure.
And then jabbed his horse in the flank to make him bolt.
Nasty way to kill a man.
That's been done before. Not a man's way of killing.
Wilma Baxter was in town all day.
When Clay comes around, tell him I borrowed his station wagon.
Going out to see Wilma?
Going out to her ranch. I want to take another look at Will Baxter's lame horse. And, Doc, I want to borrow a pair of surgical probes. I climbed into the station wagon. Close to an hour later, I pulled up on the side of the road. The gate to the ranch house was another 100 yards up ahead. So I piled out, climbed the tall white fence, and slipped into the barn. Steady, fella. Steady. Steady. The horse's left flank was still swollen and very close to a serious infection. I ran my hand over the spot. Steady, boy. There was something still stuck in the flesh, so I used the surgical probes and prayed the horse wouldn't kick my brains out. Whoa. Steady, boy. Steady. There. Sorry, fellow.
I didn't know you were a vet, Mr. Diamond.
Huh? Oh, good evening, Mrs. Baxter.
You know, in this part of the country, you can get shot for horse stealing.
Oh, not stealing. Just taking this out of your horse's flank.
What is it?
That's a piece of a long needle. Might be a hat pin or something.
I think you'd better tell me what this is all about.
Oh, certainly. Your husband was murdered.
That's impossible.
Suit yourself, but he was. Somebody hit him over the head, knocked him from his horse, jabbed this needle into his eye, then jabbed it into the horse's flank so the horse would pull up lame, look like he'd shied. The killer tried to shoot me this evening, but he missed and got Clay Baxter instead.
And who do you think did this?
I don't know. The method doesn't fit a man.
A woman, then?
Well, the blow on the back of the head rules out a woman. Too much force.
What have you got left?
What I started with. A man. And a woman.
Very interesting theory.
Mm-hmm. You're from New York, aren't you?
I've been there.
I thought so. Your face is familiar.
I haven't been in New York in at least 10 years, Mr. Diamond.
Oh, funny. Well, I've got to go out to the Merriweathers.
With those two old miners who found my husband?
Mm-hmm. They saw the murderer.
What?
Yeah, that's why I know how it was done. I was out there earlier, and I've got to go back after a sworn statement.
Well, why didn't they speak up before this?
Afraid. Said it was none of their business. See you later, Mrs. Baxter.
Have another biscuit, Inspector.
No thanks, fellas. 10's plenty.
So Will Baxter was murdered, huh?
That's right, and Mrs. Baxter thinks you two saw who did the killing.
Gonna lay a trap, huh?
Yes, Luke, gonna lay a trap. Now, look, I remembered Mrs. Baxter from someplace the first time I saw her. Then when I found out how the murder was committed, I recalled a case very similar back in New York. Man was hit over the head, pushed down a flight of stairs, and his brain pierced by a hat pin. A man actually did it, but a woman planned it. The man was caught, but the woman disappeared.
Why'd they do it?
The victim was insured. They wanted to make it look like an accident. Well, come on, we better spread out. We should have company pretty soon. The two old-timers took off their coats and gave me some beat-up pants, which I stuffed with pillows and blankets. In 5 minutes flat, I had two dummies sitting with me at the little table.
You think they'll fall for it?
Well, you can't tell, but you two go on outside and wait until somebody comes in. I just want him to try for one of the dummies.
Well, what if he tries for you?
Killjoy. Luke and Phineas took their place outside the mine, and I smoked a dozen cigarettes, and then I heard someone coming in, moving quietly up the tunnel toward the light. I played it big. Well, that's fine, Phineas. Now, if you'll just sign this statement. I rolled, and the dummy that represented Phineas Merriweather doubled over from the force of the slug. He shot again, and Luke's dummy toppled. I kicked the lamp out before he got around to yours truly.
2 down and 1 to go, Diamond.
I'm afraid I got a big surprise for you, friend.
I ain't worried.
You should be. There wasn't even close. You're a lousy shot.
Yeah.
You missed earlier this evening and got Clay Baxter instead.
I'll make up for it.
No, you won't, friend. Drop it.
You heard him drop it.
Okay, all right. Don't shoot.
Wait a minute. Wait, I get the light. Yeah.
Well, hey, it's that Kelly feller.
Yeah, you're getting way out of line for a ranch foreman, Kelly.
Give it to him, Mr. Diamond.
Who had you kill Will Baxter? You know, Kelly, you said something today about getting soft in the city. Wonder just how soft I've gotten.
Maybe you'd like to find out.
Turn him loose, boys.
Yes, sir.
Go on now, go to it, Mr. Diamond.
I don't like getting shot at. It makes me real unhappy when anyone runs around killing people.
No, go on, stop him, do it.
Shut up, Finny, and let him
Now, Kelly, why'd you kill Will Baxter?
Wilma Baxter talked me into it. Promised me a share of the ranch.
And for that, you killed a man, huh?
It's a big ranch.
Oh, get up.
Sure hate to see you leave, Mr. Diamond.
I hate to go myself, boys. Love them biscuits.
Maybe we'll get up and see you in New York sometime.
Hey, Kelly's coming, too. Doesn't like being tied to a horse like that, I guess.
Finny.
Yeah, Duke?
Fella's coming, too. Hit him with something.
Yeah, sure.
Again, here's your Rexall family druggist.
I often think there's no common ailment quite so distressing as acid stomach, and there's certainly no relief for it quite as fast and effective as Bismarex. This famous Rexall antacid often neutralizes excess acidity within 1 minute, and the scientifically balanced ingredients of Bismarex work in sequence, easing gastric distress and leaving a soothing protective covering on irritated stomach membranes. Yes, Bismarex gives relief that's not only quick, but continuous and prolonged. Ask your Rexall druggist for Bismarex. He'll tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, stars Dick Powell in the title role and is written by Blake Edwards with music composed and conducted by Frank Worth. Featured in tonight's cast were Hal March, Arthur Q. Bryan, Virginia Gregg, Barton Yarborough, Wilms Herbert, and Wally Mayer. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bill Foreman inviting you to be with us next Wednesday at this time when we will again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective.
Hiya, beautiful.
Get lost, Bristlepuss. You need a shave.
But I have shaved. What else do you want me to do?
Silly boy, she wants you to go Stag.
Go Stag? But why?
Because Stag is Rexall's exclusive line of men's good grooming aids, like Stag Brushless Shave Cream. No fuss, no massage, just smooth it on, and presto, you get a clean, close shave. Your face stays smooth and whiskerless all day long.
I'll do it. I'll go Stag.
That's it. Join the Stag line now at Rexall drugstores everywhere.
Yes, to make girls care. Go Stag.
Well, this bunkhouse ain't much, but it's what I call home. Sorry if it's a bit messy. Us snort house were never really good at cleaning.
We know. Sydney's our janitor.
Well, don't worry if you hear any rustling around at night. That's probably just one of the rats that live out here.
You sure you're okay with sleeping outside, Tex?
Of course, of course. You know, I've spent so many nights under the stars while tending to the cattle, I'd say I'm more comfortable outside than I am inside.
Well, if you say so. I'm beat. I think I'll hit the hay.
You fellas need anything else, you'll just give me a holler.
No, I think we're good. Say, Tex, there is one thing.
What's that?
You and the foreman's daughter, Daisy, you like her, don't you?
Well, of course I do. She's the greatest gal I ever met.
Yeah, nice. And she likes you back?
Well, I can't rightly be sure. She promised to go to the county fair with me next month, and, well, she gives me a little smooch every once in a while, but, gosh, you know, sometimes I just can't see what a swell girl like that would ever see in an old cowhand like me.
Nah, don't be so down on yourself, Tex. It sounds like she probably likes you.
Well, maybe so, maybe so. But even if she does, there's her father. Seems like he don't care much for me courting his daughter.
Yeah, well, fathers can be like that sometimes.
I just wish I could show him how much Daisy means to me, and I wish I could make sure I'm the kind of man that Daisy deserves.
Hey, you know, Tex, I know for a fact that it's all gonna work out all right.
What? Really? How could y'all possibly know a thing like that?
Oh, I've seen it happen before.
Wow, really?
Yes, sir.
Well, gee whiz. Ain't that something, huh? Well, pleasant dreams, y'all. Hope you don't have any trouble sleeping on account of the light.
Light? What light?
Yeah, the light coming off of the moon. She shines just a little brighter out here in Oklahoma.
Alright, well, good night. You know, these cross-country road trips really take it out of you, huh, McLean? Oh, I guess he's asleep.
If you want more Yesterday Today, you can visit KISU.org or wherever you get your cattle punching, horse breaking, sooner podcasts.
Oh, great. Now he's talking in his sleep. Well, suppose I'll turn in.